Breaking NASCAR news: driver Daniel Suarez will not return to Trackhouse in 2026. Talk about the highs and the lows of stock car racing, from winning an Xfinity Series race in your home country in front of your home fans to out of a job in 2.5 weeks. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove Instant Reaction. Little inside baseball. I was halfway through editing a completely different episode for today when this news broke. We'll talk Daniel Suarez in just a moment, but first we do have to talk about our sponsor, Lectric e-bikes. Introducing the Lectric XP4. The Lectric XP has been the best-selling e-bike in America for years. The XP4 is the next generation. The XP4 features a new, larger battery that allows you to ride up to 85 miles. It features 5 different riding modes, custom hydraulic brakes, turn signals, brake lights. The Lectric XP4 is built for everyday riders who want more. More power, more control, more fun. The XP4 is redefining what a foldable e-bike can be. Head to lectricebikes.com or click the link down in the description below to learn more. Huge thank you to Lectric e-bikes for sponsoring the show. Okay, huge breaking news. This NASCAR silly season is supposed to be fairly silent compared to years past. Most of the big organizations have their lineup set through next season, but Team Trackhouse has been the one variable. 4, in my opinion, Cup Series qualified drivers vying for 3 full-time spots. Ross Chastain, Coca-Cola 600 winner, locked up for next year. Shane Van Gisbergen, winner at Mexico City a couple weeks back, expected to return. That left Daniel Suarez and 18-year-old Connor Zillich vying for that final full-time Cup Series seat, in my opinion. Now, I'm skimming Trackhouse's statement, and I see no mention of Connor, so we don't know for sure who will be in that 99 car next season, but we now know with certainty it won't be Daniel Suarez. I am reading this statement for the first time with you. Statement reads, Trackhouse Racing and Daniel Suarez agree to part ways at conclusion of the 2025 NASCAR Cup season, with Justin Marks saying, quote, the role Daniel has played in the Trackhouse origin story in its first 5 years will remain a valued part of the company's history forever. His commitment, work ethic, and dedication to the effort is one of the most impressive things I personally have seen in my career. We will forever be thankful and honored that Daniel chose to spend many incredible years with us. We are proud of his wins, his successes, the growth of his brand, and his emergence as a valuable athlete in America's greatest motorsport. But most of all, I'm proud of him as a friend. I'm truly excited to see what awaits him in the next chapter of his amazing career. We are grateful for the professionalism, effort, and heart he's brought to our organization. Suarez, I believe, just posted his own statement, a message to my amigos. He says, quote, Trackhouse and I have mutually agreed to part ways at the end of the 2025 season. I've had some of the best years of my Cup Series career at Trackhouse. We had great successes as a team, and I gained some incredible friends. We took a team nobody had even heard of in 2021, and in just a couple of years, we were winning races and running up front on a weekly basis. Just like the seasons in a year, sometimes things change, and we have agreed to each go in our own direction. I wish Trackhouse nothing but the best. This 99 team will always be special to me, and like I always say, the best is ahead. Man, okay, there is a lot to unpack here. I remember back in, I think it was in 2020, when Daniel Suarez said that this opportunity at Trackhouse was going to be the best opportunity of his career. A lot of fans, and even those in the industry, rolled their eyes. What do you mean, best opportunity you've had? You were at Joe Gibbs Racing. You were at Stewart Haas back when they were a superpower. But Daniel Suarez, back in 2020, going into 2021, and then into the next-gen era, believed in what Justin Marks, Ty Norris, and Team Trackhouse were building. And yes, they have had some success. I would say the past few years have, generally speaking, been the most competitive years of Daniel Suarez's Cup career. He got his first career Cup win with Trackhouse in 2022 at Sonoma, and then last year he won Atlanta in that thrilling, viral 3-wide photo finish. 2-time Cup winner. Both wins came with Trackhouse, a team, to his point, a lot of folks didn't really believe in back in 2020, 2021. Who does Justin Marks think he is, swooping in to buy up Chip Ganassi Racing? Isn't Justin Marks that guy who's really fast on wet weather tires? Like, what are they possibly going to do? They became a contender quickly, and Daniel Suarez was a part of that. But But the last couple of years, I think it's pretty clear, in my opinion, Daniel Suarez has hit his ceiling. Daniel Suarez is a good race car driver. Versatile, even. He's won on a road course. He's won on a super speedway. He did win an Xfinity Series championship back in 2016. He was good enough that season to be part of the championship four. But unfortunately, the past few years, his trajectory has kind of looked like this. I mean, I'm looking at the numbers. His average finish this season is 21.4. That is his worst average finish since joining Team Trackhouse. He's on pace to score fewer top fives, fewer top tens, far fewer laps led than last year or the year before. He is 29th in Cup Series points right now. Keep in mind his teammate Ross Chastain is 8th. And again, just won the Coca-Cola World 600. So, like I said, I think Daniel has kind of hit his ceiling. He's 33, 34 years old now. Let me check. Again, doing this kind of live. 33 years old. Yeah, he's supposed to be smack dab in his prime right now, and the numbers suggest he's actually regressing. And I know they've given him some different crew chiefs since he's been to Trackhouse. Trackhouse has given him every shot, in my opinion, to turn things around, to become a consistent contender. They've shaken up the team. They've changed things behind the scenes. They've listened to him. But it just hasn't gone anywhere. He's not as good as Ross Chastain, and he's not as specialized as Shane Van Gisbergen, who has a win on a road course this year as a rookie. Shoot, SVG has as many wins at Trackhouse as Suarez does in far, far, far less time. So the writing's been on the wall. That's my reaction. I think coming into this year, I pegged Suarez as being the number one driver on the hot seat. Young Connor Zillich breathing down his neck. The writing was on the wall last year when Suarez and Trackhouse only signed a 1-year extension. You know, like if they really believed in what each other were capable of, they would have agreed to a multi-year extension last year. That's sort of the norm now. The top drivers get 2, 3, 4-year extensions typically, and Suarez got 1 year for 2025. Really, it felt like that was 1 year to let Connor Zillich cook in the lower series. My guess is they'll promote Connor Zillich for next year. Again, no mention of Zillich anywhere in this press release, but that's what makes the most sense. I believe Zillich is ready to take the leap to the Cup Series and begin learning the next-gen car on a weekly basis, get that valuable experience. I think Connor Zillich right now is one of the top 5, at least top 10 best road racers in the Cup Series. Like you drop Connor Zillich into the 99 car next year, he will be a contender at least 4, 5, 6 races out of the season. He's still young. It'll take time to learn the ovals, but like Daniel right now is 29th in points. Can Connor Zillich be top 30 in points next year? Yeah, maybe. And again, he'll give you a better shot at winning the road course race, making the playoffs that way, the SVG route. So it feels like the writing has been on the wall for a year now that this was going to be it for Daniel Suarez, barring a huge turnaround. My guess is they will promote Connor Zillich. He'll be 19 years old next season. He's got 2 Xfinity wins this year. He's top 5 in points, I believe, despite missing a race. Where is Zillich in points? Again, I'm kind of doing this live. Yeah, he's 5th in points right now. If he races at Texas, he's probably 4th in points, maybe even 3rd, looking at the standings right now. So Zillich has been very solid, very good. Will likely struggle next year on ovals if he goes full-time Cup racing, but it's time to learn. The Xfinity car is not the same as the Cup car. In fact, I think it was Connor Zillich who said this past weekend at Atlanta that between Friday and Saturday, Xfinity Cup car drove completely different. Those were Zillich's words. So if you really believe this kid has Cup Series star potential, which I think everyone in the industry does, makes sense to get him in a Cup car sooner rather than later. He'll struggle at first. I think he has the mental fortitude to handle the ups and downs of the everyday stock car racing lifestyle. Get him in Cup as soon as you can. Get him that experience. Expectations will be limited to start. No one expects Zillich to contend his rookie year, contend for a playoff spot, contend for regular wins. You just want to see improvement. You want to see growth. You want to see him gain that experience. So this is me just predicting they will put Connor Zillich in that 3rd Cup seat next year, but we don't know for sure. Maybe they have their eyes on another veteran somewhere and they'll continue to let Zillich simmer in the Xfinity Series for a season. That could be possible, but I would be surprised. The only surprising part of this announcement, frankly, is the timing. Like this week, right before Chicago and Sonoma, a race Daniel won 3 years ago, like it seems a little early. I was under the impression that Justin Marks and the folks at Trackhouse were going to wait through most of the summer to see how Suarez performed. Can they get into a rhythm? Can he win a race? Good road racer. A lot of opportunities. Atlanta was an opportunity. Obviously didn't work out. I figured they would wait another month or two at least through this stretch of races to see how Daniel Suarez performs under pressure, and then they would make the call. But no, they made the call early, frankly. That's earlier than I would have expected, which does lead me to believe, or lead me to wonder, if there's another driver out there they are considering besides Connor Zillich. Gosh, I don't know who that could be, but maybe Zillich needed an answer. I was recording an episode earlier today. I'm going to post later, I assume. Jimmy Johnson, owner of Legacy Motor Club, was talking about expansion of his team and name dropped Zillich as a young guy he's got an eye on that he thinks is really good.
Who is the best prospect coming up through the ranks?
When you look through the Xfinity Series, Connor Zillich, Jesse Love.
I don't know what Zillich's contract looks like. I feel like the odds were slim Zillich would ever leave Trackhouse for Legacy of all teams, but maybe Trackhouse saw those comments as well and said, we got to get ahead of this. Maybe we got to make a decision now to make sure we don't lose Zillich to a rival. I have no idea. I don't know why today's the day they chose to make this announcement. That's the only bit that's a little surprising, but Daniel Suarez being out at the end of the year, not shocking. I said at the beginning of the season, Daniel Suarez, number one driver on the hot seat. And unfortunately, he's put up far worse numbers than he put up even last year when, in my opinion, he struggled most of the season. So Daniel Suarez is out. We don't know who's in. My guess is Connor Zillich, but silly season is early, I guess. I guess to wrap things up, what happens next now for Daniel Suarez? Because he is a good, experienced, quality race car driver. He won at Mexico City in that Xfinity Series event, had to start at the rear, drove through the field, got the win on a road course. That's tough to do. Off the top of my head, I cannot think of a Cup Series team that would want him or that would have a place for him. I mean, let me think. There's no room at Penske, Hendrick, or Gibbs. No room at RFK. I don't think he's going to 2311. Those drivers are all expected to return. I think all the Spire drivers are under contract for next year, even Justin Haley. Both RCR drivers are under contract for next season. That's already been announced. Colleague, maybe, although Ty Dillon just had a solid run. I think he had a top 10 run at Atlanta. I mean, Ty Dillon's done what he's been asked to do in that 10 this year, and Allmendinger gives you a shot to win road races, so he's not going to. He's been the true team player there, so maybe there's a spot at Colleague. I think Legacy's bringing their drivers back. I think Stenhouse is staying put. Josh Berry's staying put. He's not going back to Haas. Front row, I mean, front row's kind of been up and down this year, but I don't know the situations there. I don't see an obvious landing place for Daniel in the NASCAR Cup Series. What I think would be awesome is if he can pool together what sponsor support he does have, and he could bring that to a contending Xfinity Series organization. We got a taste of how good Daniel could be in an Xfinity car at Mexico City a couple weeks ago. He has won an Xfinity Series championship 9 years ago. Like, viewership on the CW now is over 1 million per race. Like, maybe his sponsors would say, sure, we'll endorse a move to the Xfinity Series, especially with a contender where you can win multiple races a year. Maybe that's Junior Motorsports. Maybe that's a different Chevy team. Who knows? Maybe he could return to Joe Gibbs Racing and return to the 19 car next season. You never know. I'm just saying, I think right now that's what I'd like to see from Suarez. A full-time contending Xfinity Series seat. Hopefully his sponsors will support that. I don't even know Daniel would support that. Some drivers, once they get a taste of the Cup Series, they believe they're Cup drivers and they don't want to settle for anything less. Corey LaJoie comes to mind, although he recently caved, I guess, and took a part-time Truck Series seat. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Daniel Suarez. I think you put him in a Junior Motorsports Xfinity car, he quickly becomes one of the championship contenders, in my opinion, no doubt. So we'll see what happens, but this is big news today. Not entirely unexpected news, but the timing, again, is a bit surprising. Daniel Suarez not returning to Trackhouse at the end of this season. Any details I missed? Again, I have no notes here, kind of just doing this on the fly. I think that's it. I really like Daniel Suarez. I think I said this past week, but of all the Cup Series drivers I've had the chance to interview or just to talk to, even off camera, he has been always one of the most refreshing, honest, charismatic, interested conversations. Like, you talk to a lot of Cup Series drivers, and especially over like Zoom interviews or during their mandatory media scrums at the track, and a lot of them don't really want to be there. They're going through the motions. At least when I've talked to Daniel, I've never had that impression. He really takes the time to express interest in what other people are working on. He's kind to those around him, a great team guy. There's a lot to like about Daniel Suarez. So I hope he finds a competitive opportunity somewhere. Xfinity would not be bad. I think Daniel Suarez in Xfinity would be pretty fun to watch next season if that comes to fruition. That's my reaction, instant reaction to the breaking news today. Daniel Suarez not returning to Team Trackhouse. Give me your thoughts down in the comment section below. I need to get back to work on my other episode for the day. I don't know if I'll post that today. Maybe I'll post that in the morning. It may take some more time, but yeah. Thanks for watching, folks. I will see you again real soon.